Okay, when and how will the KYC validator receive Pi rewards? The short answer is when we know how much these rewards need to be. But let me explain and clarify. So at the moment, we're asking pioneers to pay 1 Pi as the cost to their KYC process. Now, this 1 Pi needs to cover several validation steps that were taken by multiple people. So not just one validator. It's not enough that one validator says, yes, this is correct. It has to be at least several. There is an algorithm that decides based on how much they agree with each other and who agrees and the previous history of its validator. It depends. It will have either few or more validate or more consensus votes essentially necessary. So the steps may include things like verify that this ID is a valid ID of that specific country, or verify that this picture matches the picture on the ID, or verify or if the data was not, if our AI algorithm was not able to extract automatically the data from the ID, then we need to verify that this data actually matches the validator. A human validator will have to basically do that extraction. And we also may have to involve those validators with the potential name appeals that are happening, that pioneers have applied for. So that we can have a human basically review every appeal. Now, we need to let this process run and find what is the average amount of work that happens for every one person who KYCs. So we have to let at least several thousand people finish KYCing first to get an accurate estimate of that number, so that then we can assign a value to how much Pi each one of these steps will be attributing to the validator. So for the time being, all that Pi that is accumulated goes into a pool, and once we have the accurate estimate of the amount of Pi that needs to go into each piece of work, we will start distributing it out.
And the format of, first of all, to split the pieces of validation is the design is, I think, probably previously communicated, is to have this design protecting the privacy of people, because it is splitting the work, not just one validator validate the whole sets of data of one, KYC, one pioneer who wants to go to KYC. The splitting into pieces limited the exposure to a specific validator, the subset of one pioneer's information. For example, the person who is validating image inside the document versus the selfie will only see an image, will not see even the framework or the document's looks. But for people who are seeing the document looks, we are trying to cover all the private information and also the image, so that the different validators are exposed to only subset of one pioneer's information to some extent protect the privacy of the pioneer. In addition to that, why do we have a pool and then distribute? Why can't we design my Pi just goes to the people who validate mine? The reason is because all pioneers going through KYC that require work from the validators not necessarily being successfully pass the KYC. Means that if they don't pass the KYC, they will never have the Pi in the first place to pay for the validation work done by the crowd workers. However, the work done by the validators will actually, even on the people who fail the KYC, that is still work done and still worth compensating. So in that case, that's why the pool will be contributed by anyone who successfully passed KYC, being able to have the Pi they actually they have, and then being able to pay for the service. And then this pool is distributing to work by all validators whether or not the KYC case goes through or not. Because this work is the same. Whether the result of the specific pioneer's KYC shouldn't affect whether the validator's work should be compensated or not. So that's why this is the design of the pool, the fundamental reason.
There's some people saying that there's some technical difficulties some countries or pioneers are having, and so I'm just sending a quick message to ask them to organize it along with the rest.